What's up, beloveds? We back at it again, man. Yes, indeedy, feed the needy. I'm Najee, founder of Everybody's Juice, beloveds, and this show turns your biology into power so you can own energy, your focus, your sleep, your sex, and most importantly, your longevity, beloveds. That's your lane. If that's what you're seeking out, subscribe, hit the bell. We drop the blueprint every single week, beloveds. So as humans, we calibrate reality in a social way. So in your group chats and your feeds on social, like when they circulate like the worst clips you can think of, your brain treats that as social proof as danger, right? This ends up leading to a slide into chronic vigilance, if you will, right? If they can't control your day, beloveds, they'll rent space in your nervous system at night. Them people creative. Sometimes less is more, beloveds. I'm gonna repeat that. Sometimes less is more. So too much consumption I believe, is driving our stress. Not because we're weak, but because our nervous system is actually obedient as fuck, right? So every alert, every violent, every breaking news banner that we see says the same word to our body and to our mind. And that threat says rent is due. So heart rate up, shoulders clenched up tight, like your sleep is off. You felt it before, beloved. It's like you close the apps, you close the IG, the TikToks, but the timeline keeps playing in your head, beloved. That's not overthinking, that's conditioning. So your amygdala is like the brain's smoke detector, right? But it doesn't care whether the fire is in your house or on your TikTok feed or your Twitter feed, whatever. It just pulls that alarm, right? So today we discuss how to get our peace back, beloveds. How nonstop headlines wire our stress responses. How that stress ends up stealing everything from our sleep, our mood, our libido, and our presence, beloved. And how to build a nervous system that's resilient and that keeps us informed without being harvested and being a hoe for the algorithm, beloveds. So subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get to the nitty gritty. So let me put the biology on the table, beloveds, so you can see what's this doing for your body. So when you see or hear like a threat, right? Like a graphic clip, siren, like a breaking news headline, your amygdala, like it goes off, right? And like I said before, like this is like your brain's smoke detector. So it doesn't analyze, beloved. It just alarms, right? It just goes off. But that alarm triggers the hippoaxis, and that's the hypothalamus, right? And that's the pituitary adrenal chain, right? And so the hypothalamus is like the dispatcher, right? And the cyst is like the switchboard, and the adrenals are like the first responders, like that sit like right on top of the kidneys, right? So they're responsible for cortisol, right? They release cortisol, which of course you all know is a hormone that tells you to handle trouble, right? And they turn up that fight or flight mode, right? And that raises like your heart rate, it tightens your muscles up, and much more, but you just don't feel right, beloved. It's always in that mode. And one time, okay, that's adaptive, right? But repeated exposure, like dozens of notifications all day, like those are conditions that kind of train that pathway, right? And so your nervous system is like, it's in disarray. It's in complete chaos, beloved. And a chronically aroused nervous system is easy to manipulate, easy to steer, right? It's easy to sell to, easy to distract, easy to exhaust, right? So reclaiming your attention, beloved, isn't a luxury. It's health. Most importantly, beloveds, it's sovereignty. You dig what I'm saying? So you control what gets to your smoke detector and how often you lower your unnecessary alarms, your cortisol, like it kind of curves, right? And your body gives you back calm and focus and peace of mind and sleep. So every clip that we see on TV or social media is just repetition for the stress pathway, beloveds. So that pathway is the hippoaxis, right? Which I just said is the hypothalamus, right? So it's like our built-in emergency line, right? So with enough reps, like neutral places, like they start to pick up threat residue, if you will. So your bed, when you're in bed, right, your bed becomes like where I watch chaos, right? Your couch becomes where my chest tightens, right? See, when I was growing up, beloved, and I don't want to sound like an old dude. When I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, like shit wasn't like this, beloved. Like it might have been crazy shit going on. Matter of fact, I'm sure it was crazy shit going on. But like the exposure just wasn't there, right? We wasn't exposed to it 25/8, right? And that takes me to my next point. Like you might didn't live the event or the trauma, but the body rehearses it like you did. So our brain carries mirror systems, right? These are circuits that help us empathize and learn by seeing and watching. So when you see harm or tragedy, like those circuits, like they simulate pieces of it, right? So you start to feel like sudden like chest pressure, right? Like you feel that like butterflies. You get that stomach drop feeling, right? Like your shoulders start clenching up and climbing towards your ears, right? Just clenched up off of mental replays that cut in while you're trying to just live every day, beloveds. Mood swings start to appear out of context. Like shit just goes wild, right? Like, for example, you're safe at the sink, washing dishes, but your physiology is bracing for impact because the clip was loud and your nervous system, of course, like I just mentioned, is obedient, beloved. This is important because repeated body rehearsals train posture, your breathing, like your heart rate towards vigilance, beloved. So that becomes your new baseline if you don't stop it, if you don't interrupt it, beloved. This part isn't moral, it's just mechanical. It's just nature doing this process, beloved. These social feeds run on variable reinforcement, right? So that same psychology as a slot machine, right? So not every swipe like pays out, right? Unpredictability is what hooks dopamine. So think of this for me, like that one more scroll, right? It's like when you in bed, you scrolling, like over time, like attention starts to get sliced into cycles, right? So motivation for deep work and like your deep sleep, right? Like that starts to fade away. So you're not choosing misery, beloved. Your midbrain is chasing that next unpredictable spike, that dopamine hit, right? And the next thing you know, you're wired, you're tired, you're drained, like your entire sleep architecture is just completely thrown off, beloved. And sleep architecture is like the pattern of your stages across the night, right? So you got light sleep, you got REM sleep, you got deep sleep, right? Like all these are important and they play a role with being restored the next morning. So these threats that I've been talking about, beloved, like they all do a lot of things at one time. Number one is they mute melatonin, right? Melatonin is like the darkness hormone that tells your body to shut it down. It's time to go to sleep and get some rest. They also raise the sympathetic tone, which is essentially what keeps you like half ready, half guarded. So you never really quite fall into that deep REM restorative phase of getting sleep. And then it breaks your sleep up, beloved. So yeah, you might be sleeping, but you ain't waking up refreshed. You're feeling tired and sluggish throughout the day. You need a nap a couple hours after waking up. So a couple things. Fellas, if you start having fewer morning erections, then this is a sign that REM sleep is getting clipped up, beloveds. Your mood is flat, you're a bit more moody and sensitive in the morning, your cravings start to get a little bit more increased, and you start to, your stress tolerance ain't really there, right? So men tend to see like lower morning testosterone with broken or fragmented sleep. And then on the flip side, women, like they start to feel shifts and changes like in their mood, their libido, their arousal, like their cycle as well when REM and deep sleep is pretty much non-existent. So poor architecture, beloved, is expensive biology. You dig what I'm saying? So let's just say, for example, you at the table with your family, right? Family dinner. Someone open up a reel, right? They just got sent. Phone come out. Conversation moves into scrolling. No one breathes deeply for a full minute. Plates empty. Chairs pushed back. Everyone leaves heavy, right? With zero action taken. That is secondhand trauma, beloveds. We have absorbed the weight, but nothing has changed in our world. So when these communal spaces, right, like the dinner table, the church, the barbershop, like when all the group chat, so to speak, right, when they become threaters, like your nervous system stops using them to relax and downshift, right? Like recovery starts to shrink. Your sleep follows, your libido follows, and so forth and so on. You get the message, beloved. So to total it all up and put it on your tab, attention is the front door to your nervous system, but you must guard the door, beloveds. The world will knock with sirens and headlines and just quick, cheap dopamine hits. But your job is to decide who gets in, how long they can stay, beloveds. Be informed, but not inundated. Information is fuel, beloveds, but overdose is just smoke. So when you curate what enters, beloved, your biology stops acting like a siren, starts acting like a compass. Work feels deeper, beloveds. It's like family time, right? Like libido, desire returns, right? Like these are all important things. We need these things to thrive personally, beloveds. So that's my time. To the next time, beloveds. If you felt this conversation, please hit the subscribe bell. Get notified because we drop in every single week, beloveds. I love y'all. Take care. God bless.